Hello everybody, I'm Larry and welcome to Larry Under Pressure, where we cook dishes that are simple, quick, and on a budget. Today we're cooking up one of our favorites, buffalo cauliflower bites. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is prep our cauliflower. And I've got an average size head of cauliflower here, but we need 4 cups. If we end up with a little more than 4 cups, that's fine. If we end up with a little less, that's fine too. But either way, we need in the 4 cup range. And these each need to be about this size so that they're right for cooking. If they're too small, they overcook, and if they're too big, they stay too crispy in the middle. So let's go ahead and get these cut up and get them in the measuring cup and measure up 4 cups to get started. There's 2 cups. That's a good 2 cups. We're going to put those in the bowl. Then we're going to cut a couple more. Some of those might be a little bit too big, so we'll cut these down a little bit. Leaving the stems on them helps. It makes them easier to eat and easier to serve. So leaving the stems on is just fine. Get 2 more cups. These can be cooked in a Foodi. That's what we're going to do. We're going to cook them in a Ninja Foodi today. And they can also be cooked in an air fryer. They can be cooked in the oven. Anywhere where you can cook them at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Wow, this cauliflower head is huge. That's about right now. So let's get all that in the bowl. And we'll be ready to go. Next thing we want to do is take our next 2 and actually the last ingredients. This whole recipe only has 3 ingredients. It has cauliflower, melted butter, and Frank's Red Hot. Now in the Red Hot sauce, we're using the actual Frank's Red Hot, not the Frank's Buffalo. The Red Hot has a different flavor and makes these much better than the Buffalo. And actually, I was reading recently that the Frank's Red Hot sauce was the primary ingredient in the original buffalo wings in Buffalo, New York, that started this whole buffalo craze. So in this bowl, I have 3 tablespoons of melted butter, and I'm going to add the entire bottle of Frank's Red Hot. The reason I use these little bottles, they're not quite a cup, and the recipe calls for a cup. These are available for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, and they work perfectly. It's a real good value, and they work perfectly. You don't have to measure, don't have to do anything else with them. Let's stir that up a little bit. Then we're going to take the sauce, and we're going to pour it over the cauliflower and mix it up. Let me get a spoon. And we're going to mix that up well so that all of the white places on the cauliflower are covered. We don't want to at this point add any salt, pepper, or any other spices. We've got enough on it with the Red Hot and the melted butter. The butter, by the way, is salted butter, not no salted. All right, we're going to let those sit for a minute or 2 while we get the Foodi ready. And you can preheat the Foodi if you want to, or not if you don't want to. In my test with this recipe, I have used it without preheating and it works just fine. So let's get the Foodi ready, and I'll be right back and we'll get them in the cooker and ready to go. It's time to spoon all these cauliflower bites into the Foodi and get ready to cook them. As I said, I'm not preheating. Let's get them all into the crisper basket. They'll fit with no trouble. You can easily get about 6 cups in here. If they overlap just a little bit, it won't hurt a thing, because there's enough hot air circulating around them that they'll cook real well. Now those are all in there and we're ready to go. Let's close the lid and we'll set up the Foodi. The Foodi's on. We're going to press the air crisp, temperature 400, and time at 20 minutes. That's what it defaults to, and we'll let it go. Hit the start and let it start cooking. We'll check back in 5 minutes or at 15 minutes on the timer and stir them and make sure they're cooking like we want them to. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. We're approaching 15 minutes now. So as soon as the 15-minute mark hits, we're going to open up and take a look and see where we stand. We're looking good so far. Let's take a quick stir to keep them mixed up and cooking evenly. And we'll be ready for the next 5. All right, let's go for 5 more minutes. They've been in the air crisper now for 10 full minutes. So let's open it up, check them out, give it a quick stir, and let it go again for another 5 until we come back in and check it again. We'll check in again at 5 minutes. We're at the 5-minute mark now, which means we've been cooking these for 15 minutes and we should be about 3/4 of the way done. They're looking good. They're beginning to brown and firm up just a little bit. You can see they're getting some brown edges and looking good. They smell amazing. Smell really, really good. See this, the little brown edges on some of them? Let's go for another 5 and I'm hopeful that it'll be ready by then. Let's go for 5 and we'll check it out at 0 minutes. We're coming up on the end of our 20-minute cooking time. We're going to check them and see. They should be ready. If not, we may have to add a little bit of time to them, but let's check them out. Here goes. Oh, those look incredible. They look amazing. I think I'm going to give them about 5 more minutes just to be on the safe side. Some of them are pretty big, so they may need it. Let's turn the Foodi on. Let's go to crisp, 400 for 5 minutes. And we'll check it at the end of that 5 minutes and almost certain it'll be done. Now we're at the end of the 25-minute mark. We added another 5 beyond the 20 that the recipe calls for. Let's take a look, and for sure they're done this time and should have black tips, which adds a real nice dynamic to the flavor and the texture of the cauliflower. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted them to look like. Now they're perfect. The sauce is somewhat dry, the tips are dark, and the cauliflower looks perfect. That's the way they should look. We're going to plate them up and then we'll be back and give them a taste, so hang on. We're ready to plate these up now and make them look good for serving. We'll take the cauliflower bites out, put them around the edge of the plate, and then we're going to put some blue cheese dressing in the ramekin in the center. I prefer blue cheese. You can use ranch or poppy seed or whatever kind of dressing you'd prefer. I just think the blue cheese is a nice offset for the hot sauce, or the buffalo sauce. Okay, those are all plated up. Now what we're going to do is add blue cheese to the center. What I use, I think is some of the best, is the Tuscan Garden blue cheese from Aldi. You can make it yourself at home, or you can buy a more expensive brand. But this Tuscan Garden at Aldi is rated highly, and in my opinion, one of the best on the market, and it's less than $2 a bottle. So we've got that plated up. Now we have the fun part coming. Let's give it a taste. These look and smell amazing. If we finish out that trio by tasting as good as they look and smell, for sure we've hit a home run. Let's take a quick taste and see what they taste like. They taste just as good as they look and smell. What a winner. This is a recipe you can fix up quick, as you just saw. It's delicious, it's company appropriate, family appropriate, and you'll enjoy it every time. It's very inexpensive and quick to cook. If you've enjoyed this recipe, I'd ask you to please subscribe to my channel, Larry Under Pressure, and like this video. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the algorithm in YouTube expose more people to the channel and get more exposure and more people watching. So I would appreciate more than you can imagine if you would take care of that for me. Thanks again for joining, and we'll be back again in the near future with another delicious recipe for you to try.